both of his dudes in FBG got caught by the police in trap spots. That's a little bit confusing to me, Chad. One guy basically just liquidated like his musical fame, got $100 million, and he's spending buying this, that, and third, tricking on women, doing whatever he does. And then the rest of the team, they keep getting caught in drug spots. That's kind of confusing. Ain't that confusing, Chad?
Future's own blood brother is staring down life in prison after getting caught moving enough fetty to harm millions, while Future is sitting on a clean $100 million from selling his catalog. This goes way deeper than family loyalty or street pride. This is what happens when jealousy mixes with fear. And suddenly people start whispering that a man might have talked on his own crew just to dodge the storm headed his way. Behind Future's Miami mansion and luxury drip, Casino was out here running full-blown trap spots with 21 kilos of that poison stashed up. The feds caught him slipping in an Airbnb that was basically a hidden warehouse for the operation.
We believe that Diaz's connection to California is significant because we know, as mentioned earlier, the Mexican drug cartels smuggle fentanyl into our country over the southwest border.
We got the real federal paperwork, the press conference statements, and the whole story people scared to touch because it paints a picture of FBG that fans never imagined. The truth about why Future never pulled his people out the mud is a lot darker than folks think. Money didn't just change lives in FBG, it changed relationships, trust, and even who survived to see another year. From young Scooter's preventable passing to Casino's federal downfall, everything around Future started to look like a pattern instead of random tragedies. Listen, this drama ain't just some gossip thrown around online.
Like fentanyl, they poison our community, but they have second-order effects and spillover effects like addiction, like overdose, like violent crime in our community.
This is real family tension ripping through one of Atlanta's biggest rap families. And everything we uncovered shows how deep the cracks really are. And best believe, the details in these receipts will reshape how people look at this entire situation. Stay locked in, because what I'm about to lay out about Future's choices, the federal heat, and the way FBG members kept getting caught up will make you question what loyalty even means in the rap world. And trust, once you hear it, you won't look at Future's circle the same again. Now let's keep it real for a second. The whole internet been talking about Future's brother getting scooped by the feds, but everybody only knows the headlines and the gossip. People repeating news articles like they got the inside scoop. But right here, we breaking down the difference between what's real and what's fabricated, using the actual federal complaint. November 2025, around 10 p.m., that exact moment flipped the whole Wilburn family upside down.
The drug dealer. Like, shit, I mean, 4K, they got, this is kind of shocking to me. How is Future's blood brother, like, selling drugs? Like, this don't make no sense. You got Scooter running out of a trap spot, Casino selling drugs, and I'm hearing there's another guy named Lil Double O, and he's selling drugs. What's going on? Yo, Future, all it takes, take $10 million of that $100 million you got, and just give them, yo, 2 for you, 2 for you, 3 for you. Get these niggas out of the bando, bro.
That's when Rico Casino B stepped straight into the point of no return. Future's blood brother, the same dude running major moves inside FBG, was cooling in a Forest Park Airbnb when agents from the FBI, DEA, and Homeland Security hit the spot with federal search warrants, ready to flip his whole world inside out. This wasn't some street-level sweep. This was part of Operation Take Back America, a full federal mission aimed at shutting down major criminal networks across the country. Before anyone thinks this was a tiny setup gone wrong, let's be clear. They found 21 kilos of fentanyl in that house. That's 46 pounds of one of the most fatal substances out there. The whole internet been talking about Future's straight up said it was enough to harm millions, with a street value pushing almost $500,000.
From the cartel and these organizations, it's coming from a source, coming into the country, and then distributed on a local level in these communities like Athens, like Macon in the Middle District of Georgia, hitting the street and then being distributed by gangs and local distributors. And that flow of drugs, that's not an opinion, that's a fact. You can trace the pattern, and that's how drugs flow through our community.
On top of that, they found $380,000 in cash, money counters, vacuum sealers, and a Glock 19. This wasn't a hobby. This was a full-blown distribution hub. Meanwhile, Future had already secured almost $100 million 2 years earlier. and his own people were still out here risking forever behind bars. This wasn't just about one man slipping up. This was a whole pattern that started forming the moment Future touched real generational money. Young Scooter's preventable passing in 2020, FBG members getting caught up left and right, and now Future's actual blood brother facing life without parole, all while Future is somewhere in the sky posting private jet photos. The public sees one thing, but the truth behind it is way more twisted. So picture this. In 2022, Future sells his entire music catalog to influence media partners for somewhere between $65 million to $75 million. That's the type of paper that rewrites your whole family line forever. This wasn't tour money or a label advance. This was ownership money, the type of wealth that puts you in a different lane where you never have to look back. And as soon as that money cleared, Future moved like someone who knew he had fully leveled up. He dropped $16 million on a Miami waterfront mansion with the whole luxury setup. Ocean views, endless rooms, the private lifestyle everybody dreams about. But he didn't stop there, not even close. He started spending like a man who hit the jackpot overnight. Because in a way, he did. And he really did move like a man who hit a new level.
Individuals who profit the most from that distribution are often not in our country, and they're profiting, making the most money out of it.
But here's where things get wild. FBG, Free Bands Gang, wasn't just a label Future slapped on some albums. It was his inner circle, his real family. Casino wasn't just another artist on the roster. He was Future's actual blood brother and the one running day-to-day operations like a boss. When Future was out on tours and locked into his superstardom grind, Casino was the one holding down Atlanta, making sure everything stayed tight and moving smooth. Where we from, there's an unspoken rule. When one person eats, the whole family's supposed to eat. That's something passed down for generations. You don't make it out just to leave your people behind, especially not your own blood. But Future's situation got complicated fast because he didn't just get rich. He got life-changing rich. Catalog money rich. The type of rich where you never have to clock in again, not even once. According to the federal complaint we got our hands on, this wasn't some quick pop-up bust. The feds had been watching for a minute. They had eyes on the house, monitored communications, and even info from confidential sources. This was a calculated federal takedown, aimed at what they believed was a major operation sitting right under their noses. Now imagine this. November 14th, around 10 p.m., agents pull up to an Airbnb in Forest Park with one mission. They spot two cars sitting in the driveway. One in Casino's name, the other tied to David Diaz, a dude from California with zero connection to Georgia. The second they start running the warrant, Casino and a woman try to dip out the side door. But Casino wasn't built for sprinting through backyards. So they caught him fast with $4,000 stuffed in his pocket. Inside that Airbnb was a whole setup that looked straight out of a crime drama. In the kitchen, on the stove, tucked into black duffel bags, 17 kilos of suspected fentanyl sitting in brick form. And these weren't plain bricks either. Some were stamped with designer logos like Louis Vuitton, as if someone wanted to show off even while pushing the most dangerous substance on the streets. That's a wild kind of branding right there. Louis Vuitton stamped on fentanyl bricks. The irony hits even harder when you think about Future's high-end lifestyle. But honestly, the fentanyl wasn't even the biggest clue about how deep this operation went. Inside that house, agents found around $300,000 in rubber-banded cash sitting all over the place, plus another $80,000 tucked inside one of Casino's designer bags. That's a total of $380,000 in suspected street profits sitting in one Airbnb like it was nothing. They also found money counters and vacuum sealers, the kind of equipment you only need when you're dealing with serious weight and serious cash flow. This wasn't someone dabbling on the side. This was a full operation that had been moving heavy for a long time. But here's where the story goes deeper than Casino getting cuffed. This isn't the first time members connected to FBG found themselves trapped in bad situations while Future continued stacking millions and living luxury. Young Scooter, rest in peace to him, passed away in 2020 under circumstances that never should have happened if the people around him had more support and real opportunities. Here's the truth behind Scooter's final moments. He was inside a trap house when someone made a false call to police. When officers pulled up, Scooter panicked and tried to get away. He jumped a fence, but a metal stake caught his leg and pierced a major artery. He ended up bleeding out right there, a tragic ending that could have been avoided if he wasn't forced into those risky environments just to survive. If someone has real income streams and solid resources, they shouldn't have to gamble with their life just to get by. That's the part people don't want to talk about. And here's the craziest twist. Future literally predicted this entire situation in his own music. Remember Feds did a sweep? Casino was right there in the video, surrounded by stacks of money, living that lifestyle on camera. It felt like a warning, a story, a fantasy. But then real life came knocking when the Feds actually swept through, and now Casino is facing life without parole on a federal conspiracy charge. So let's break down what Casino is really up against. The charge is conspiracy to possess, with intent to distribute fentanyl. And with 21 kilograms tied to the case, the mandatory federal penalties are extreme. These aren't light numbers. Once quantities hit that level, the Feds lock in hard, and they don't ease up for anybody, especially not with this substance. They're treating this whole situation like a national emergency, and honestly, it is. This ain't just about Future being selfish or acting like he forgot the block he came from. Maybe he really tried to help and his people stayed tied to the streets anyway. Maybe there's family issues behind the scenes that nobody outside the circle knows about. But when you look at the pattern, Scooter gone, Casino staring at life, other free bands members getting caught in messy situations, it paints a picture of a man who climbed out the trenches but had soldiers around him who never made it up with him. Now think about what $70 million truly means. That kind of money can flip an entire crew's future overnight. We're talking about real business setups, property investments, music companies with actual structure, tech lanes, restaurants, legit ventures that grow wealth without risking prison time. You could bless 10 people with $5 million each and still keep $20 million untouched for yourself. That's the level of power Future had in his hands. Imagine the opportunities that could have been created. A real record label with his people as partners, not just workers. A clothing brand where the ownership stays in the family. Real estate plays across Atlanta. Streaming ventures, entertainment companies, tech moves, all the lanes that bring in clean money. Instead, while Future was buying Miami mansions and enjoying the luxury life, his own brother was in an Airbnb surrounded by enough fentanyl to harm entire cities. But here's something folks rarely mention: the psychology behind sudden wealth. When you go from the bottom to the top, it can twist your mind in ways you don't even expect. Some people distance themselves from their past because it reminds them of pain. Some think dropping money on someone fixes everything, not realizing money without structure just creates different kinds of chaos. And sometimes, success makes you feel like you don't owe anyone anything anymore. Loyalty is supposed to mean everything. You don't leave people behind, especially not blood family. But success changes people in ways the streets never prepared them for. Maybe Future tried and folks didn't listen. Maybe he offered help and it was turned down. Or maybe he got comfortable living that new lifestyle and forgot the unwritten rule that says you lift the ones who held you down. What makes it even crazier is that this story keeps repeating in hip-hop. A rapper blows up, hits a new tax bracket, and suddenly the day ones become distant history. We've seen it happen with countless artists who made it out but didn't bring their crews up the right way. But this situation hits different because we're talking about blood family. And Casino wasn't just some street associate. Casino wasn't some associate or old friend from the block. This was Future's real brother. And what makes everything even heavier is that Casino didn't just get caught in some normal case. He got swept up in Operation Take Back America, a federal initiative aimed at shutting down major criminal networks across the entire country. The feds aren't treating this like a regular street arrest. They're treating it like a national security threat. They're going after cartels, foreign crews, and multi-state distribution rings. When the government hits you with this level of heat, they're not showing up to offer sweet plea deals or short sentences. They come in expecting to stack decades on top of decades. And here's the detail that shows this wasn't small time. The other guy arrested, David Diaz, was from California and had zero ties to Georgia. That alone tells you this was bigger than anything local. The feds believe this operation connects to Mexican cartel pipelines moving fentanyl across the southwest border. Casino wasn't accused of holding a personal stash. They're saying he was tied into an interstate network moving serious weight. But at the end of the day, Casino's situation isn't just about fentanyl or federal charges. This whole thing shines a light on loyalty, family responsibility, and what happens when success creates distance between people who were once inseparable. Future made it out. But did he really make it if his own brother is now facing life in federal prison? Can you truly enjoy generational wealth knowing your brother might spend the rest of his life behind bars? That's a question that'll follow Future whether he wants it or not. And what does this mean for Future's legacy? How do you celebrate being one of Atlanta's biggest rappers while your own blood is still caught in a system you escaped from? How do you enjoy that Miami mansion knowing your brother is locked in federal custody with no sunlight on his future? This situation forces a real conversation about the responsibilities that come with success. When an artist blows up, do they owe their people a new path? And if they do, how far does that responsibility actually go? Is offering help enough? Or does real loyalty mean stepping in deeper even when folks don't listen or don't want to change? Now, Future selling his catalog was supposed to be a cultural win. A black artist from Atlanta securing generational wealth from his art and proving hip-hop can build long-term ownership. That move should have been a clean victory. But now it feels messy. Because while Future was stacking millions and leveling up, his own circle was still stuck in dangerous lanes, risking everything while he enjoyed the rewards of success. We still don't know the full truth, and that's what makes this whole situation even heavier. Did Future really try to pull Casino out the streets and get pushed away? Was there family tension behind closed doors that created distance? Did Casino stick to the lifestyle even when other paths were right there for him? Or did Future drift into his new world and forget the same people who helped him rise? These are questions the public might never get real answers to.
What we do know is this: Casino is staring at life without parole. That's forever. With no return, no fresh start, no walking out decades later for one last shot at life. Meanwhile, Future is out here flying private, posting vacation photos, and living like nothing around him ever changed. The difference between their worlds hits hard, and it forces some uncomfortable conversations about success, loyalty, and what family truly owes each other.
Maybe Future tried his best, and his people didn't want to listen. Maybe he offered clean opportunities that were rejected. Maybe there's a side to this story only the family knows. But the way it looks from the outside is rough. A family split apart by choices, pressure, and the kind of distance that builds when one person rises and the others stay trapped in dangerous lanes. So let me ask you this. What do you think Future's responsibility was to his brother and to FBG? Should he have stepped in more to keep his people out the streets? Or is every grown person responsible for the decisions they make, no matter who's rich in the family? Did Future fail Casino, or did Casino create his own fate even with other options on the table? Drop your thoughts in the comments, like the video, subscribe, share it with the fam, and I'll see you on the next one.